Shalom, everybody. Greetings from the city of Madrid, Spain, from Sepharad, how we call it in Hebrew, for the Sephardim. We're back, or at least for me, during these days that I'm visiting Spain, I'm back into the motherland, the home of all the Sephardim. We have a special relationship with Spain, even though after so many years. I want to share with you something that happened to me today, and I feel very honored, very proud, very thankful to the Almighty, to Hashem, that allowed me to witness with my own eyes the return of many people, many Spanish people with Jewish roots, with Jewish blood, with Jewish ancestry, how they are connecting with their ancestral faith, heritage. Today, I had a series of conversations with few people that came to visit me here in the hotel that I'm staying in Madrid. There are people who travel from Barcelona all the way to Madrid to see me, people who came from Toledo, people who came from Colombia. There's someone who's going to Colombia and he somehow changed the flight just to come and see me and speak to me about spiritual matters and about Judaism and the Sephardic Judaism. And I was very amazed and really, like I said, honored to witness the return of many people back to their heritage, a way of connecting with their heritage. I just want to share with you briefly one of the stories of one of the couples that I had the honor to meet and speak with them today. There's a couple that came to see me from the city of Toledo. Toledo is a city close from Madrid, not far from Madrid, and these people basically told me that they start watching my videos when I speak about Jewish history, Sephardic history, and all these things. And they told me that for many years, the husband, he was an atheist. He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in anything, basically. That's what he said. But something changed in his life when he started listening about Torah, when he started listening about Sephardic Jews. And somehow he started to listen to shiurim. Not only my videos, but also the shiurim that other rabbis publish on the internet. And he started looking into more and more into Sephardic history, into the way we understand the Torah and the way we explain the Torah. Basically, he told me that slowly he started to believe once more in God. And for him, it was like waking up from some type of a dream in which all the things that he learned in the past, being a Catholic, now everything started making sense to him, to his wife. He's telling me that when listening to the shiurim of all the rabbis from Israel and the way they explain the Torah and the insights and the Chitushim from Rashi and the Chamim, he's really amazed the way the sages explain the Torah and the different insights. He was able even to share with me a little bit of the parashat of the week, Parashat Shavua, and he was really amazed and surprised. And he said that he doesn't understand how, why, what's going on with him in his life. And that's basically the reason he came to talk to me, because he and his wife, they don't understand what is happening in their lives. In their city, there is no Jewish community. They don't have Jewish family. They never speak to Jewish people. They don't know anyone Jewish. So basically, coming and talking to me is their first time in their lives that they're having this opportunity, and they just want to ask me what is happening with me. I don't understand. So I start asking a few questions. Of course, I'm a historian, so I know my specialty is Sephardic history, especially here in the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal. I've done research on the Inquisition and many other areas, so I know perfectly well, just by even listening to the surnames, I can tell if a person has or comes from Jewish roots or Jewish families, or if maybe some of his ancestors come from those that were tried by the Inquisition, because I've done a lot of research, so I know the subject. And I was able to explain to this person that the city that he's coming from, and his wife as well, they said, I asked them, look, do you have any Jewish ancestry? Is there anyone Jewish in your family? They said, we don't know. So I started asking a few of the surnames, and I told them, look, the city you are coming from, Toledo, is not any city. It's one of the most important cities in Jewish history for the Sephardi Jews, because Toledo was a city of significant Jewish community during the Middle Ages. Toledo is a city that, in fact, we know from history, it was founded by the Jews. And there's, I don't know how to call it, if a theory of, or some type of legend, or perhaps it's rooted in history and historical facts, that the city of Toledo derived its name from the parashat of last week, Toldot, or Toledot. That's the name of the city of Toledo, mean generations, because the Jews that settled in the city, when they founded the city, they named the city Toldot or Toledot or Toledo as generations, as a remembrance of the exiles that came from Jerusalem, and now they are exiled in Sepharad, like the prophet Obadiah explicitly writes on his book. So I explained to him, look, the city of Toledo is a city of great scholars, yeshivot, chachamim. You have the Center of Translators of Toledo, one of the most important centers of scientific development, in which Jewish people, a lot of them working side by side with also Arabic and Christians as well, but they were able to translate the scientific knowledge from the ancients, from Arabic into Romance languages, into Latin. And Toledo was a center of great Jewish history. And even today, if you know where to go and where to look, you will find a lot of ancient archaeology and buildings and places that are, it's proof, there's connection, there is archaeology that shows the heritage of the Jews in the city of Toledo. So when I explained these things to them, they were really shocked, they were very surprised. The point that I want to share is that, Baruch Hashem, I'm very, again, honored and grateful that God is helping me to spread the Torah in the Spanish world, the English world as well, for those who watch my videos in English. But mainly, most of my followers come from the Spanish-speaking world, from all Latin America, Spain, Portugal, and basically all over the world, wherever there's people who speak Spanish. And to be able to meet these people and to listen to their stories, and to basically, you realize that there is a thirst in the soul of the neshama of hundreds of thousands of people that are looking at connection with the Almighty, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And there's some type of awakening in the Spanish world of people looking into their ancestry, into their roots, where are they coming from. And a lot of them are discovering that they come from Jewish families, that they come from those that were forced to adopt the Christian religion during the time of the Inquisition. And they kept as much as they could, at least for the first or second generation, of as much as they could of the Jewish rituals and the Jewish religion. Eventually, the new generations, they were raised up as Catholics. They didn't know any connection with Judaism, but yet they still kept many of these rituals, like, for example, lighting candles on Friday afternoon, Friday night, Shabbat candles, but they don't know it's Shabbat. A lot of them that I spoken with a few of them, and they told me, look, I don't know why, even until today, after so many years, they tell me, I saw my grandmother lighting candles Friday night, but I don't know why. And she makes some type of prayers and cover the eyes. And on the Sabbath, they don't work. They cook on the day before. On the Sabbath, the family gets together. They read from the Bible, they say. And they say, a lot of these families also, some of them, they are kind of divided, because some are very devout Catholics, others are looking for roots. There are conflicts with the family. This person was telling me that now, because they don't know how or why they feeling this, and they study and they realize that what they learn from the Catholics doesn't make sense to them anymore. They came to the conclusion that everything that we know about God in the Western world comes from the Jews. So the source of everything is Judaism. So at the same time, it's a little bit painful to witness this, because you basically are seeing the suffering of the neshama in this world. And everyone has their path. Everybody is looking to connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And again, this is very significant to see what's happening in Spain. Still, there's a lot of stigma, because they told me that in Toledo, to speak about the Jews and Judaism is like a big stigma. And they told me that even they have some type of arguments with their relatives, with the family, with neighbors. People don't want to hear about the Jews. People don't want to know anything about Judaism. They say, no, we are Catholics, this and that. And I explained to him, look, you find a lot of these families, they might even know that they have Jewish ancestry, but after so many years of persecution, to hide your identity was a way of protecting you and your family, your heritage. And even after so many years, people don't want to be disturbed in their lives. So it's difficult when one of the members of the family realizes that he or she comes from Jewish heritage, Jewish ancestry, Sephardic Jews, or from the time of the Inquisition, or some of the relatives were tried by the Inquisition. So it's a big shock, they told me. And basically they confessed to me that they are slowly trying to connect, to learn, to approach the Jewish community. So basically they were asking me, what is all this means? That's what it means to all of these things that they're feeling, the things that they are already doing. So I showed them a little bit of, guide them. I explained a few things. Look, I told them you have to go to the Jewish community, you have to talk to the rabbis in the community here in Madrid, you have to see eventually if you want to do conversion or not. That's not the point. What I want to emphasize in this video is the thirst of the neshama of so many people, of the stock of Israel, of the Sephardim, are waking up and are discovering their heritage, their ancestry, and they want to connect. They want to know, at least they want to know. A lot of them don't want to be Jewish or to go back to Judaism. They only looking for answers. They want to know why I have these strange customs, why there's people in this family they do circumcision. What's this? Why there's people that certain families they don't eat pork? Why? When everybody else does it. Why they don't go to church, for example, in the Christian community? There's people with a lot of these things, and they just want answers. They just want to know. A lot of them, maybe they want to eventually do conversion, but others, at least they just want to understand, who am I? What's my heritage? What is all this means? I remember now, a few months ago, during the summer, August, I just remember, I was in Lisbon, Portugal, and I was at the airport on my way to Israel, and I sat for a moment on a table, and there was an old man who came, sat next to me. I had some few books, and suddenly he told me, he asked me, are you Jewish? Well, I don't know how we start talking about these things, and suddenly he confessed to me. He was an old man. He was like in his maybe 65, 70. He told me he was a professor. He was on his way to Vienna. I think he was supposed to give a conference on oil and some type of some type of lecture he was supposed to give. And he told me, he confessed to me that he was from Brazil. He told me that he remembered his grandmother, that his grandma always had with her some type of a long chain with a huge medallion with a Magen David, and she used to protect it and hide it. It was very special, Magen David. And he confessed to me right there at the airport, a person that I don't even know who he was. He confessed to me, look, we know that we come from Jewish families. My grandma told me this and this and this and this, and he told me so many things. But he confessed to me as well, look, but now we are a different generation, and now my daughter doesn't know about this. And the point is that there are so many stories out there around the world. The Jews have written so many stories. And then when you meet this type of people and they start opening for the first time in many years to a stranger at the airport, they don't even know me. Right there's something that moved them to express themselves and to share these very intimate and personal, sometimes even hurtful and delicate, private aspects of their families, of their own spiritual journey. And that's why I started this video saying that I am very honored and grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that has allowed me to see with my own eyes and to be able somehow to dialogue and to talk to them and to see with my own eyes the return of many of the descendants of the Bnei Sephardim, Bnei Sepharad, the children of Sepharad, those whose ancestors were tried, judged, and sometimes burned at the stake at the time of the Inquisition. Even a lot of them have done their genealogies and how they find out about their ancestry and how they discover that their ancestors at some point were Jewish and eventually were forced to accept Christianity, either as baptism or exile. And sometimes, even though you try to keep your Jewish identity, but you are left in a country in which there's no help, nothing. And after so much pressure and humiliation and persecution, they just give up, hoping perhaps somehow escape. A lot of them never could escape. They didn't have the means to travel, especially in those days. It was very difficult. And even we know that those Jews who left Spain, thousands died on the sea. A lot of them were captured by pirates and sold, sent to the Americas. Others were, the horrible stories when you read the chronicles of the exiles on their way into Morocco, how the women were raped, people, even though they were not allowed to take anything with them, the little that they could take on their own, the thieves took them from them. They're a horrible story. A lot of them had to return. A lot of them escaped to Portugal thinking that things will be better. And when they got to Portugal, the Inquisition also started in Portugal. They were trapped in Portugal. Horrible situation, horrible stories. And you find that a lot of those new generations, descendants of those forced by the Inquisition, by the church, now they're trying to connect. At least they're trying to understand. At least they just want to know who they are. At least they want to know a little bit more about this. And Baruch Hashem, that He's allowed me to somehow, these people are coming to me and meet them in random places like the airport, and they open to me, and they are great and fantastic people. You can see the Jewish root, the Jewish neshama in a lot of them. There is someone that is a Jew, you know, and you can identify at least something Jewish. You can still see it in a lot of them, and that's really remarkable. May the Almighty help us all. May the Almighty bless us all. May the Almighty guide those who are looking into the truth, those who are looking to connect with their heritage, those who are simply looking to understand, who am I, what I'm doing here, what's my connection with the Almighty, what's the connection, what's my depth with Israel, with the Jewish people. How can I get closer to the Almighty? How can I get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? That's the most important thing. The Neshamot are thirsty. They're looking for the Almighty. They're looking for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. May the Almighty bless us all, sending you greetings from the city of Madrid, Sefarad. May the Almighty bless you. Shalom.